Welcome back to New England Living. I'm Rachel Holt. Up next, meet the man giving farm to table a whole new meaning. Gerald Croteau is the founder of American Stonecraft, turning ordinary rocks into extraordinary gifts.
So I got into this because I love the landscape of New England and I love seeing stone walls. I realized that a lot of people had never seen the inside of these ordinary looking field stones and that I could pick them up sustainably just from working farms and turn the rocks that were coming up in their fields into products that they could sell at their farm stands. We make coasters, we make bowls, serving platters, and we make cooking stones.
Gerald works with farmers across the Northeast to help collect their field stones. You're the guy that goes out to the farm, picks the stones that you want to use. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for something that's gonna just have that spark, that magic, that interesting swirl, that metamorphism, bright colors, or just something unusual, something artistic that people are gonna want to collect and cherish and pass on for generations.
How are the rocks different on the various farms you work with?
So you'll see different colors, you'll see different shapes, you'll see different types of minerals. We're talking about 6 different states and there's so much color diversity. You're more likely to see something that's going to fit into your lifestyle, into your home. I think that we're the first stone company that's really sustainably sourcing raw materials. And the reason we can do that is that these rocks get pushed to the surface in a process called granular convection. As the ground is freezing in the winter, it's pushing these stones to the surface, so farmers traditionally would pile them into walls. That process continues every year, so there's a new crop of stones and we don't have to disturb, we don't have to blast, we can just pick up rocks that are already at the surface. One of the interesting facts that I tell people is that there's more miles of stone walls in New York and New England than it would take to get to the moon from the Earth.
We're standing on this big pile of rocks. Just give us an idea, how many of these would you sift through until you find one that you want?
It might be 100,000 stones that you look at and kind of pass over before you find that perfect piece, because those rocks themselves might be gray and boring and beige on the outside, but on the inside they could have really vibrant colors. So you're trying to find these really rare, colorful ones. That's what's the most amazing part of it, is to see the contrast between the outside and the inside. So we're looking for color, we're looking for pattern, and we're looking for size and shape. Over here, I spotted this one, and it's a piece of quartz. It's got this fissure running through it this direction. So that's kind of a threat to the integrity of the stone, but we might still be able to cut it this way and either make some plates, or we could even stack it and do kind of a full set. So it could be the whole rock, we could put it back together. Where I really like to go is to the rock pile, because the stones have been out of the ground for about a year and given it time to rinse off, so you can see more of that color diversity from the outside.
After the rocks have been gathered, they head to their workshop in Lowell, Massachusetts, where head craftsman Jonathan Carranza begins his process.
Once Gerald comes in with a palleted stone, we separate everything based on farms. From there, we'll bring it in and start cutting everything by half, and that way we'll start the selection process. Not everything makes it in because through weathering you get cracks, some things are just awkward shapes. Then we'll start splitting everything in slices, and then I'll bring it into my table, which I will start separating everything, what's going to become a coaster, what's going to become a food slab, and what's going to become a bowl and stuff like that.
When you split open a stone and you're deciding what to make out of it, what are you looking for?
Movement. You know, we want to see a collage of different colors, of different elements combining together, and depending what it has, it will throw different colors.
What is that process like of sculpting rocks?
It all starts with a diamond blade. When you start sculpting, it's all about using different grits. Each individual pad that you go through, it just brings up more color, more detail. You really get this glass finish on the stone without using any chemicals or epoxy. It's just stone.
Do you have a favorite thing to make?
I really like the process of making bowls. It does require a lot of sculpting involved in it. When the light hits and you get that great polish, you see the roughness from the outside, and then you see the beauty from the inside. We do really take pride on being 100% handmade and using basic materials.
You do custom sourcing here and you can make things really personal. Tell us about that.
Custom sourcing is us grabbing and putting a lot of emotion into something that means something for the person that's going to receive it. Whether it was from a farm they grew up in, where they first met their loved one, it has some sort of story behind it. Adding emotion is what turns material into artwork. It's not about the stone anymore. It's about the memory that's in the stone.
Do you find that customers are very interested in knowing where their stones are
All
from?
the time, all the time. A lot of people would buy a certain stone just because it came from their hometown. Sometimes they're far away and they're a little bit homesick, so they get to take something home with them. Telling those stories of where the stone came from, we started keeping track where everything come from.
The bottom of the piece will have the inscription and engraving of where it's from, and it'll say the name of the farm, so if you're from that town, it just has that sentimentality. The best part is that you're doing something that people really treasure and are oftentimes giving it to somebody else who's really going to appreciate it. In a lot of cases, you're bringing people to tears and they're just really happy and they love it. That's such an honor.
Coming up after the break, how rethinking the space around you can lead to a greater sense of well-being when New England Living returns after this.